Yeah, race fans, we're back again for the RaceNuts Podcast, episode 31. We've got a bit happening today. We've got some news. Aaron Love, our BRT. Craig Lowndes is on the move. The Bathurst saga continues. We're going to be discussing the Race of Champions in Sydney, the stars of the karting world racing at Todd Road in Melbourne, and then finally previewing the Australian Grand Prix. As always, Ash Miller's here with me. Ash, mate, what's been happening in your little world over the last couple of days?
I was about to say not much, but I'd be very much wrong. My weekend was filled with Race of the Champions, which was really awesome to watch. Good race, and I thought. A lot of different opinions about it, but good, I thought. And then kicking on, I was able to get myself across to the Stars of the Karting event at Go Kart Club of Victoria, where Kimi Antonelli had showed his face and also actually ran a few laps around there today in a kart. So yeah, a bit's been going on. Met plenty of people. There's really honestly actually been no shortage of what has been happening. And the week hasn't really even begun yet. So yeah.
No. Well, of course, it is race week
Yeah, that's
for
where
the
I'm at.
Australian Grand Prix.
A lot's been happening, and I'm ready to get stuck into. Yeah, ready to get stuck right.
Well, let's get stuck into probably one of the biggest news in our side of the world for motorsports. Came really quite out of nowhere, even if it wasn't totally not expected. Aaron Love, in a press release released yesterday afternoon from both Aaron Love and Blanchard Racing Team, that on the request of Aaron Love, that on Aaron Love's request, Blanchard Racing Team and Aaron Love have chosen to part ways effective immediately ahead of this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. Aaron Cameron's going to take over that seat for at least the Australian Grand Prix. Reading their statement, they say they're looking forward to continuing their relationship with Aaron Cameron throughout the year. So that maybe indicates that this is possibly only a stopgap option for this weekend, and possibly a more full-time driver will come in for the remaining rounds. Ash, what do you make of this?
What was that? Sorry, mate.
So, what did you make of this Aaron Love situation? For those at home, so we're having a bit of connections issues tonight, and there's a bit of a delay between myself and Ash.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this whole Aaron Love situation was completely blindsided by the timing of the announcement. Not surprised by the announcement itself, but the timing of the announcement is what caught myself and many other people off guard. Was being only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, being only like 3-4 days off hitting the track, 3 days off hitting the track, and we get this announcement that Aaron Love is requested to Blanchard to part ways, and Blanchard have gone, yeah, that's right, mate, you do you. It was just fucking insane. And as I was saying to Dan earlier, I was at the Stars of the Karting event when this news dropped, and I said to one of the blokes there, I'm like, hey, have you seen this bit of news? And he was fucking flabbergasted by it, because by then the statement was only 5 minutes old, so very fresh off the press, and it was just fucking my thoughts are expected it, but not this soon. Maybe I thought he might have seen to halfway through the year, but I've been reading a couple of articles, and it was a fragile relationship with Aaron Love and the team, so it was just better to cut it short and not hurt anyone's future prospects and caliber or anything like that. Let's just call it time when it's time, and not have bullshit, really.
Yeah. My feeling was just the same. Like, it kind of felt like this would come for a long time. I was saying quite early this year that I think it was a foregone conclusion that he'll be gone at the end of the season unless he started doing some real magic tricks, unless he really truly pulled something amazing out of his ass in the most literal sense. I was expecting maybe there'd be talk of a driver swap, maybe post the Enduros into the finals, where without doubt BRT is not going to be in the finals anyway. So why not give a driver a run for those last 3 rounds? But yeah, to pull it after round 1 and to pull it so close to the event, just the timestamp. This announcement was made on the Monday of the Australian Grand Prix, where racing for supercars at that event starts on Thursday. So really 3
Yeah,
days
72
notice.
hours.
At least publicly, this could have been something that was well in the works for weeks and weeks ahead. But you kind of feel like the announcement would have been more handled properly than just a blanket statement from both sides, if that had been the case. So,
Yeah.
also as I mentioned, leading into this, Aaron Cameron has stepped into that seat at least for the next 4 races at the Melbourne 400, as it is considered for supercars or the Australian Grand Prix. Aaron Cameron, of course, hugely successful in S5000 and TCR. Bloke who knows he steers the local to our location. I think I've mentioned before that I actually did tape for this bloke back in 2016. He probably doesn't remember me. If he does, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, you have. Yeah.
I was a huge dickhead when I was 16. And if he doesn't remember me, that's probably for the best, because I was not someone worth remembering in 2016. But me and my mate Alex used to strip the TAFE car of all its components to make it light as possible, even though I didn't have a motor, purely because it was funny. Um,
No,
there was no
not
chance of
worth your
me
time.
becoming a mechanic if you haven't took that.
Yes.
But
I did
no,
read
we did do
earlier
TAFE together.
today. Yeah, I did read earlier today. Aaron Cameron has been the dr- longest, longest serving driver in TCR from 2019 to like late 2024. He hasn't missed like a single
That
round.
that
6 race
that wouldn't surprise
wins.
me. I thought. Yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. I thought Dylan O'Keefe would have been up there, or Tony D'Alberto, but no, that doesn't surprise me. And he did a lot of the S5000. I think it was more
Yeah, when you
successful in
think
the
about it.
S5000. I think I saw a thing on his Facebook the other day when I was having a bit of a suss for photos for the graphic announcing Blanchard race. Now he was in Europe earlier. Not Europe, sorry, in the Middle East earlier this year doing some racing with I think regional Formula 4, regional Middle Eastern Formula Ford. It looked like he was driving, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just photos with him in the car, but he did have his race gear on, so I could presume he was doing something there. But no, it's really I really hope that Love lands on his feet here, because look, a lot of people were having a gag at him, going like, yeah, do what he did, crash a lot of cars. He did have a lot of offs. Obviously, the latest incident, which this probably isn't the incident that had led to all this, but might have been the nail in the coffin, was the Sydney crash with his teammate during qualifying for race 2, where both him and James Courtney collided. Um, I said for some reason this hasn't worked out with him, but you got to remember that he was successful, extremely successful in Porsche Carrera Cup. I think his winning rate in that series was 64% or something. Like, it was. I never seen the stat. I think someone on Facebook posted it. I never seen that going like that is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
you have this X amount of win percentage in Porsche Carrera Cup, and it should translate over, but it just didn't here. And so I'm hoping he obviously this is one of those cases which it is not unheard of for a driver to come into a series and not click. I've mentioned it before with Brendan Hartley in Formula One. Brendan Hartley did quite well in all the junior categories, not amazingly, but well enough. Got upgraded to Toro Rosso in 2018 and just sank, just totally sank. With Formula One and with Toro Rosso, was sacked that following year, but then he went to the Endurance Championship, and I think he's won 3 World Championships with the Endurance Endurance Championship, including 2019 with Mark Webber, the year after he lost his drive in Formula One. I'm just looking through some of I'm looking through some of Aaron Love's Porsche results at the moment. So, um, let me see. Where am I looking here? So Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge in 20. Why won't the page move across? Porsche GT. In 2019, he came second, and then in Porsche Carrera Cup, he came 24th, but he only had 3 starts of that season. The following year in 2020 for Porsche Carrera Cup, obviously shortened season, there was only 7 races. He came third. In the following year, Porsche Carrera 2021, he finished 5th. In the 2022 season of Porsche Carrera Cup Australia, he finished 2nd. In Porsche Carrera Cup France of the same year, where he only had 11 race starts, he finished 5th. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. And he struggled a little bit in Super 2. In Super 2, he only did one season on 2023 and finished 9th. But you look at his Porsche career, and there was definitely something here. So for some reason, supercars didn't click with him. And then they're not an easy car to drive to start with, so you almost can't completely level at him that he found it difficult to drive a difficult car in a team that's still very much trying to find its feet. But I hope Aaron Love finds somewhere to land, and congratulations to Aaron Cameron. This is a huge opportunity for him. He only stepped out. He stepped into Super 2 last year. He's not running Super 2 at the moment. I believe he just couldn't find the funds. But well, look, it's paid off now after his co-drive with Aaron Love last year in the number 3. He's now going to step into main game for the first time.
I do believe he had some wildcard entries last year, maybe. I'm not sure exactly when or where they were, but I do think I read something about that.
I'm 99% sure I remember that. No, because this is going to be his main game debut. So yeah, he was co-driving with Aaron Love in the number 3, and that was it for Bathurst and Sandown. I believe he was paired up already to be a co-driver this year again, which I'd say by the wording of BRT's statement, he still is. He's just going to be co-driving with whoever will step permanently into number 3 seat.
Okay. Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this?
Next up here, I'm probably going to be pretty quiet during. Not really. But as Dan noted earlier, I'm having fucking some mad technical difficulties, so I'm kind of just blankly staring at the camera a bit because Dan says one whole sentence, I get maybe quarter of a word at the moment. But continuing on, we have the Bathurst saga. So this saga originated from this whole thing of these, which has been proven to be false, not false. I don't know. It's all over the place. So there was some ashes spread in like McPhillamy Park up on top of the mountain or something, somewhere around there. And then there was this claim that this group of Indigenous people tried to make it a sacred site. And with that would come limited access to it, if any access, because these ashes were spread. And then Bathurst Council like saying, "Oh, it is true or isn't true," or it's the whole thing. Dan is a bit more read up on it than I am, so I'll hand it over.
So as we discussed last week, the organisation here is the Wurundjeri Traditional Owners Central West Aboriginal Corporation, or WTOWAC. WTOCWAC. WAC. Now, the Australian newspaper reported last week that they had put in this application to make it a sacred site. They came out later this week, very much rebuffing that no application has been made, and that it was purely misinformation. In the time since, let me just double check, make sure that I'm quoting the right council here. I believe I am. The Bathurst City Council has said that no, that's not the case. that's not the whole truth, but have not elaborated any further on that. And that's where we stand. So, and that's been reported by the Australian as well, which the Australian has done this sort of stuff previously. I must point out, of deliberately trying to stir these quote unquote culture war kind of stories. Now, I'll get a couple. We put this out into a couple of groups last week. Some people reached out. One was a local saying that apparently, from what he had heard, this was a rogue member of the WTOCA W. God, I'm going to struggle with this. WTOCWAC. A rogue member had put this forward, and that's where this all came from. Because obviously, where there's smoke, there is some form of fire. But then apparently, someone else reached out. Another local saying that apparently all the local politicians on that side of politics have been pushing this straight away. So it makes you wonder if there's some underlying story there that's trying to be pushed, especially with keep in mind there is an election coming up in the next few months. So what play the media has to do with that on top of already tensions around this sort of issue. So I think there's not much more to say other than this little update on it. I still, as I said last week, I still think there's a bit of a bullshit story with nothing truly behind it, and it's been played up to create division and anger, and it's just trying to pull everyone apart for reasons that are really beyond the scope of this podcast. But we wanted to keep somewhat in touch with it as it evolved.
As a wise man once said, a G up, if you will. A total fucking G up.
Yep, G up. Mate, you want to roll us into the next one? Because I want to move on from the story forever, hopefully.
So that's the Bathurst saga chalked up, I believe. Yeah. So, cracking on, once again, fucking, I'm going to be passing the baton. So, late last year, I believe it was, or mid last year or something, we had Perth Supercars announced that in Perth, they're doing a whole street circuit thing. It's sounded pretty full steam ahead on it. Like, all fronts are like, yeah, this is going to be alright, not too bad. We're going to move away from Wanneroo Raceway, and street circuits provide action. Wanneroo Raceway is a great raceway and all, but they're, I think, maybe better accessibility to a street circuit being straight in the guts of like the CBD or nearby. Public transport enables a lot more people to get there, and just for accommodation and all. But Dan informed me earlier that there is action within the politics of Western Australia. So if you would like to dive into that one, please, Dan.
Yeah, so obviously I'm just trying to find the name of the mayor. I know it's Karen because I was been joking. Her name's literally Karen. But yeah, as you stated, Ash, the mayor of the area. So this track's going to be around where the precinct of Crown and the current and Optus Stadium. And this mayor, who's I'm just trying to track down her name now, so I can be accurate. Maybe Supercars has it. No, that's from 2 years ago. Street track. Mayor. There we go. What's her name? If Speak Half can stop showing me 400 videos at once, maybe half me stuff like surely that's not her name.
Karen Vernon.
The office of Venom. Venomous.
No,
anyway,
Town of Victoria Park Mayor Karen Vernon.
Yeah. So she's the local mayor of this area. Came out very out against it. She actually came out with this wild theory, Ash. I'm going to tell you this last week. Totally forgot. She came out with this conspiracy theory. So nearby is in Perth. Where is the name of this place? I just had it right in front of me.
Was it the Parklands?
I can't remember the name of the speedway. There's a speedway nearby where they're building a new port, and that because of that work, the speedway's moving. They're moving the whole facility, and she had this crazy conspiracy theory that she pushed quite hard. She said this on the radio and everything, that the government was planning to put the speedway in the middle of Perth. And that's what this whole thing was about. So I don't know if she's an idiot or just total lack of awareness, but
Maybe
yeah, she
she's
came
more
out pretty strongly
educated on the
against it.
matter. She
Yeah,
knows
and a
what's up in
few
Perth, mate.
yeah, and a few politicians on her side of politics did begin to back her up on it. I think purely because there was an election in Western Australia last Saturday. This was an election that the Cook Labor government, which it currently is in, smashed totally. So with that, pretty much all support for knocking back this idea is now gone. So it's really just her against the world. So that's it. It's done. That should be. We should not bloody hear about this ever again. Especially crazy ideas of moving a speedway and drag strip to the center of Perth. Like we would love it. I welcome it. Let's do more of that. But it's kind of like moving the Australian Grand Prix to Docklands. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, that's enough. That's enough talking about anything touching politics. Let's move on to something else. Ash, what else we have?
So next up, we're heading out of the news and kind of more into a review preview operation here. We've got Race
we
of
missed one here, mate.
Champions, which Dan couldn't. Did we? I didn't write.
Yeah, man,
something
we
down.
missed probably the second biggest story. I thought we were going to cap off here with Craig Lowndes is leaving Triple Eight Racing.
Lowndes, that is a big one. So yeah, after 21 years of service with Triple Eight, Lowndes has stuck to the badge of a Chevy, a GM product, and yeah, he's moving on. I don't believe it's known where he's moving to or any suspicions.
Not yet. The big question that all the discourse I heard about this until now was, does Lowndes, because Lowndes always said he doesn't want to do Bathurst if he's not competitive, and with Triple Eight cars, even in the wild card, he's been competitive. And now the question is, well, where is he going to go in the Chevrolet world where he can be competitive? So we don't really know. This could be his last Bathurst. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes out and said, "Do you know what? I'm leaving the team and I'm done." And he didn't say straight that he's leaving the team. He just said he's elected not to renew his contract. So this could be his last Bathurst. He's signed a new contract to continue to be a ambassador for Chevrolet and GM overall, and also whatever all the things that entails. So we'll wait to see if he decides to continue on. It would not, like, he is 50 this year, so it would not surprise me. Or 50 or 51, don't quote me on that. I think he might turn 50 last year. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me when he says, "Do you know what? Had a good run. I think this will be his 25th Bathurst start. Let's end it on a high."
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was away camping this weekend, so I missed all Race of Champion, unfortunately, because we didn't have reception. So Ash, mate, I'll let you talk me all the way through it.
All right. So I'll punch us through the Race of Champions. So first, I thought it was fucking brilliant. First of all, great racing, flicked it on the TV, and just sat down on the couch. And for what it was fucking awesome. Great format, going from heats to semi-finals to quarter-final. I forgot the order for some reason. Quarters to semis to grand finals. First night was Nations Cup, so that's people representing their country in a team of two or three, I believe. And we had a really strong outing from the Australians supercars team, the blokes who are more used to tarmac. As we had the Australian Supercars team and Australian Off-Road team, which So I don't have the teams on me, but in off-road it was like Toby Price, Molly Taylor, and I suspect someone else was in there, but I can't quite bring it to my tongue. But moving on.
Chaz
So yeah,
Mostert.
we're broken down. Home turf in Sydney. Yeah, Chaz. No, he was part of the All Stars team. So he replaced the
Toby Price.
Swede, and they then flew a half. They then had a half flag thing going, which was cool. And so it was good racing all night. Like some of these races, so the way the track worked, it kind of went. You both drove the same track, but you started in two different lanes, and then one went off, did the other half, and it kind of like turned into itself. Like there was a bridge, so you'd go under, and then you'd like be crossing over to the inner or outer lane. So that's how they did the full track. So you do 2 laps. So you do 1 lap of one version, and then it feeds you into the inside lane if you started outside lane. There was a trend, I believe, with whoever started on the inside lane. There was a trend where that lane was actually winning the most races just off, just how it fucking was, really. But there were a few clutch moments where we had cars pinning it to the end, and there was lucky to be 1/10 in it a couple of times. Like they were just dragging it out. We had Sebastian Loeb and Victor Martin representing France. They took out the Nations Cup in a dramatic race. Loeb versus Will Brown. There was nothing in it to the end there. That was really cool. And then moving on to the Saturday night, we had drivers representing themselves as individuals. So still obviously flying their flag in a matter of pride, but not in a matter of competition necessarily. And we got to see, I believe, Australians out of the heats into the quarterfinals. We saw Australians take about 4 of the spots. So we had Molly Taylor, Chaz Mostert, Will Brown, and we had Brody Kostecki bomb out in the heats, I believe. But he had a ripper night on Friday night, so it is what it is. And then we had Chaz Mostert and Will Brown actually line up against each other. Chaz got the one up on Will Brown, so he was up to the finals. And then we also had Sebastian Loeb meet him in the finals as well after completing his heats and semi-finals and quarterfinals. Chaz gave it his all. He finished, I believe, just over
Second.
1/10 behind Loeb, and Loeb is a 9-time World Rally champion. He's not there to fill out numbers. He's fucking making numbers, and now he broke a record and is a 5-time ROC champion. So he's still sticking to his guns and driving great. And yeah, there was a moment at the end of the night where Chaz Master, Brody Kostecki, and Will Brown, they actually all did a shoey together in celebration of it all. So that was just another highlight photo to come out of it. It was a great event and all that. So yeah, that's the ROC. So yeah, you missed out on good racing.
Yeah. Very nice. Again, because I wasn't there, because I was away, mate. Do you want to take us through what was the vibe like down at Todd Road this weekend?
So I want to start with the stars of karting, but here's a little nugget. A hot air balloon landed at the Todd Road go karting track this morning. Just like a crash land, I believe. So that was weird to think I was only there yesterday and a hot air balloon had landed on track this morning. I think everyone was okay in that debacle. If not, anyway, I'm here to talk about racing. So, Stars of Karting is a big event Karting Australia puts on with everyone who's anyone. A lot of Australian karting competitors as well would come and have a race, and people just it's the start of the Grand Prix week. I believe it's directly linked in some fashion. I'm not sure exactly how, but they kept mentioning the Louis Vuitton Formula One, given its full name and everything. We had Kimi Antonelli drop by at one point for photo ops with the team, and then today on Tuesday he had cut a few laps at some point at Todd Road as well when it was a lot more quieter. And we also had Ava there, the recently graduated to F1 Academy. She was floating around, and I saw Michael Massey was there. I kind of eyeball him, like, "Are you who I think you are?" And it was. I learned that he's on a board or a committee of some fashion within Karting Australia, so it's not unusual for him to be around these events. We also had James Golding compete there as well. I'm not too sure what results he pulled up in. And we had Nick Percat there running and guiding his team, JND, out of their tent. They have quite a big setup. And we also, who else did we have? We had James Wharton there, a F3 driver. He was floating around a bit, doing a bit of signatures, some interview with media that was there. And we also had, oh gosh, I'm done. Dave Serra, who had dusted off his skid lid after 5 years. He had a run at it. He did. I don't think he had the weekend he was most hopeful to, but he was just outgunned by these younger blokes who are a lot more have better kart fitness. But Dave Serra, he's a recent Australian karting Hall of Famer. 18 Australian titles and 56 or 54 state titles to his name. So yeah, that was a lead up and a hell of one too. So yeah, there's all that. Dan, I'm going to lead you into where am I looking here? Supercars at the Grand Prix, mate. How are we looking?
Well, like I said, obviously, we got a rookie on the stage of Aaron Cameron. I think we're going to start with. Look, there's no pit lane as we have no pit stops. Obviously, this is a full support category spec, but the pit lane still sort of matters as this is obviously the order of which the cars are going to enter the track for practice and qualifying. So we're going to roll through this. Tickford's going to open lead forward with their two cars, followed by Triple Eight, Walkinshaw Andretti, Grove, Dick Johnson, Team 18, then both Brad Jones Racing teams. The team of 96 and 12 are a little bit lower, but they always pair the two Brad Jones together based on where the top team is. Followed by Erebus, Premier, Blanchard, and Matt Stone. As I covered in previous episodes and the video about the formats this year, this will be four races, 3 at 105 kilometers and 1 at 80 to make it the Melbourne 400. Of course, these are all time sensitive races. I think I can find how many laps they are. I believe all events. No, I want to change from who wrote the schedule. They're an idiot. It's not hard to put it. Why would you make it a drop down? Man. Okay, let's have a look. What's the
Gone down a hole.
do I have laps? Huh? Spiderbait. What the hell is? Okay, I'm getting real stuck into this. Whoever runs the F1 Grand Prix website, fix it. So I believe So it's going to be 3 19 lap races, and then the race on Sunday morning is going to be 14 laps, I believe. All time certain, obviously. Like I'm playing, it's uncertain on supercars. Well, that's what you get when you're a support category. It's no difference to Porsche Carrera when they're on a supercar bill, which Porsche Carrera is also there this weekend. Of course, also supporting is Formula 2 and Formula 3. I believe Tommy Smith is still in Formula 3. So he makes up the Australian lineup there. As we mentioned last week, Christian Mansell has pulled out for personal reasons. What else? Formula 2. Yeah, they're doing their thing throughout the weekend. Finally, moving to Formula 1. I think I might do a quick run through of. Because we haven't talked much about Formula 1 this year, have we? Just have to delay between me and Ash at the moment. Fortunately, it's a technical issue we can't do much about. Either that or Ash wasn't listening.
No,
Both
it's
both
not.
are very likely.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
sounds like it.
if I could stare into my headphones right now, if I could stare into my headset right now, it's like what I'm doing. I'm like just concentrating, trying to catch any word I can.
Yeah, copy. Let's get to. Of course, somehow I ended up on the. No, I want Formula 1 2024. Why? Oh god, I'm looking at the entire history of Formula 1. God damn it. 2025. Here, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of this year's driver lineups. So we have not talked about Formula One very much at all. Can we get? Yep. So this is in alphabetical order of teams. So we're starting with Alpine. Jack Doohan will be wearing the number 7 in his second Grand Prix start and first Australian Grand Prix. Paired up Pierre Gasly in the number 10. For Aston Martin, we have Fernando Alonso in the number 14 and Lance Stroll in the number 18. For Scuderia Ferrari, the number 44 will be driven by Lewis Hamilton in his first ever drive for the Ferrari. Of course, alongside him is Charles Leclerc from Monaco. In Haas, we have Esteban Ocon in the 31, followed by rookie, but not his first race because he did a couple last season in the 87 of Oliver Behrman. In McLaren, this is where all our hopes are led. Oscar Piastri in the 81 should hopefully lead from Lando Norris the Palm in number 4. We're prepared to expect a lot of hatred to the Palms. This is, of course, a year that we are playing the Ashes, so tensions are high here in Australia against you English picks. Moving on to Mercedes AMG. Kimi Antonelli will take his first race start in the number 12, and alongside him, of course, George Russell in the 63. RB or Racing Bulls or whatever the hell you want to call them. I say call him Toro Rosso because that name sounded a lot better. In the number 6, another rookie is Isaac Hadjar in the number 6, and Yuki Tsunoda in the 22. All the way down to Red Bull Racing, reigning world champion, still in the number 1. Max Verstappen will hold against Liam Lawson, the Kiwi, in the number 30. This, of course, is his first race starts for Red Bull Racing. Sauber, in the last ever time in their long history of actually being called Sauber before they come Audi next season, we'll have Gabriel Bottiello in the number 5. I've definitely butchered that name, but it's too late in the day. And of course, next to him, Nico Hülkenberg in the number 27. Rounding it off with Williams, with Alexander Albon in the 23 and Carlos Sainz Jr. in the 55. And of course, that was last year's winner, Carlos Sainz Jr., when he raced last season with Ferrari. I think I'm going to move into the weather now as we look quite close. Just to timestamp this. This is Tuesday, the 11th of March. Is a couple of days out from the event. So Thursday, we're looking at a max of 23 with 30% rain. Friday, we're looking at a max of 28 with 5% rain. High UV for both those days. Now this Saturday, more the same, 10% rain. Again, not a high call for UV, but a high temperature of 37. So it's going to be quite hot in qualifying. Now this is where it gets fun. I hope Ash you hear this part because I'm excited for this as much as I'm worried about it. Sunday, race day. Good news is no Live V. Good news, it's going to be quite cool. It's only going to be 27 degrees. Worrying news, but also quite a lot of fun news because this could make things a lot interesting. 90% chance of rain between 2 and 15 mils. That's how the weather's looking. Is Ash there? I don't know. Was Ash ever existing?
I'm here. I'm catching like every 19th word.
Okay. So so I'm just gonna quickly respond to this. So I'm just gonna quickly rattle through the schedule here. We're just gonna do qualifying and racing, except for Formula One. Just to keep things moving along. So let's see. Where does racing begin? Porsche. We have Porsche qualifying at 12:30 on Thursday, followed by system checks for followed by qualifyings 1 and 2 for the supercars, and then finishing it off with we got the first Porsche Carrera at the Porsche Carrera race at 4:50. Yeah, that's getting cut out. Let's timestamp that. No, that's not getting left in. No way. 49.
Fuck.
49 minutes. Dude, let's just skip the schedule because the website's having a complete fit. It keeps trying to show me videos. The first supercars race for Thursday anyway is gonna be quite late in the afternoon. Let's just move on to when the Grand Prix itself starts. God damn it!
Shit.
The Louis Vuitton Australian Formula One Grand Prix commences at 3 p.m. local time here in Melbourne. It's going to consist of 306 kilometers across 58 laps, or one lap after 6 p.m. local, as the 3-hour time certainty rolls by with the TV coverage. Oh man, Ash mate, it's been a bit of a tough one to record. We're having some technical issues, unfortunately. It's a bit of a shame because we were kind of hoping this could be a big episode for us, being that we're right on the verge of one of the biggest events in Australia's motorsports calendar. I think we're just going to leave it there, and we'll come back next week with hopefully working computers and a lot more to talk about. Nothing behind those eyes. Nothing. I say important things, you can't hear me. I say one really bad word that you won't be able to hear because I'm going to cut it out, and he's on it straight away.
I still can't get you right now, but like the last 5 minutes, you saying Porsche Carrera is the only thing I've like got properly, and that fucking sent me.
Again, that's going to get cut out. 51, 30 something.
Also, it's
said it again.
It's still recording. I don't know.
It's still recording. Yeah, no, this is the outro, dude.
Are we still going?
Yeah, you just made me more work to do because now I've got to cut that out again.
I thought you finished, though, mate. I'm just going to sit here quietly and wave.
Righto. We'll see you next week, mate. You fool.